In the last video, you learned about social expectations. Now let's look at another type of expectation, linguistic expectations, or writing and speaking the way your audience expects you to write and speak. Again, let's start with an example outside of college. How would your grandmother expect you to write an email to her about coming over for Christmas? Would it look like the following email? Chances are you don't write or speak to your grandmother the way this author does. This author doesn't meet linguistic expectations. The grandmother clearly expects people to call her Granny based on her email address, but Gus calls her grandmother. While the subject, 2013 Christmas, third grandchild, son of oldest daughter, is specific, it's overly formal for the audience. The formality continues throughout the email, with a request for an appointment to discuss Christmas and an unnecessary Eagle ID at the end. Again, this writer doesn't meet his audience's linguistic expectations by writing so formally. However, the formal tone would be more proper in an email to a potential employer or to professors. Let's take a look at how linguistic expectations can play out in college. If these students were writing to their grandmother, both would more than likely have proper emails. However, because they are writing to their professors, their emails are improper. While different professors have different expectations for how students should write and speak to them, there's some pretty standard etiquette to follow, especially when you're emailing someone to ask for assistance. Here's a few general linguistic expectations that will help professors help you. Send emails from your GSU account. GSU email is the official means of communication, but more importantly, sending from your GSU email will help professors identify you. Do you know who cutiepie21@gmail.com is? Neither does this professor. Your subject should be a good indicator of what your email is about. A lot of people, professors included, use subjects to determine if they need to open emails now or later. Subjects like important or no subject at all probably won't be put on a professor's read now list if it makes it past the spam filter. State what class you are in, the section number, and the time you meet. Neither student does this. Many professors have multiple sections of the same class. In other words, not stating what section you are in creates more work for the professor to help you. John's instructor would have to look through all his class rosters to find what section John is in, then would have to take more steps to look up John's grade. Remember, when asking for help, make it as easy as possible for that person to help you. Give details. What assignment are John and CutiePie21 writing about? The professors don't know because they don't use specific language. List your full name. Even though John uses his GSU email and signs his name, the professor still may have 4 Johns in his class. A first and last name is good, but including the last 4 digits of your Eagle ID doesn't hurt either, especially if you have a common last name or don't go by your legal name. And this is even more important when dealing with administrative offices like financial aid, the registrar's office, or your academic advisor. Don't use text lingo. Even if you send emails from your phone, be extra careful to use proper grammar and punctuation. Take the time to capitalize words, don't use abbreviations, and don't capitalize sentences to emphasize urgency. The popular interpretation of all caps is yelling. Additionally, 1 exclamation point is pretty sufficient. Add attachments when appropriate. CutiePie21 is asking to turn in an assignment late, but she doesn't even bother to attach it, which isn't helping her case. Address your professor formally in an email. Writing Dear Dr. Gus or Dear Miss Gus makes it clear that you're addressing him or her and conveys respect. Lastly, pay attention to how your professor responds. It's a pretty good indicator of the linguistic expectations he or she has for students. Again, this isn't to say you can't write emails like this to your professors, but you should absolutely be aware that doing so may come off as linguistically improper. For a lot of professors, an improper email is a sign that a student isn't taking the class or his or her academic career seriously. Some professors may not even respond to emails that aren't proper. So, can you write a linguistically improper email? Absolutely, but be prepared for the ramifications, like professors not taking you seriously or possibly not responding to emails. Wondering how to write a proper first-time email to your professors? Click pause to read the following email, then click play again when you're ready to continue. It's important to note that as technology changes, so does the way we write and speak. While the above-mentioned etiquette may be proper today, it could change tomorrow. Text lingo may someday be acceptable in communicating with college faculty over email, but we are not at that point yet. Heinrichs reminds us to write and speak with the times when he says, "Every era has its rules. Humans continuously adapt those rules to changes in the social environment." Now that you've finished learning about linguistic expectations, go back to Your Academic Future module and click the Aesthetic Expectations link.